There is no reason why my 1 month bill should be $675 when the house is pitch black. When we talk about these data centers, there is no question that the reason why our bills are as high as they are is because you've got these multi-billion-dollar corporations, Meta, Amazon, who come into our communities, who take all of their money and use it, don't pay a dime in taxes, and this is why our bills are the way that they are. We are making all the concessions as consumers in terms of what we can do to lower our bill. Lights, no heat. We're going to bed at night. I go to bed at night with no heat on at all. I turn my heat off at night and get in the bed so that my heat doesn't run all night long. When will the elected officials, our local Prince George's County officials, take our fight to Annapolis and then take our fight to the governor, who will then take our fight to the feds? We know that multi-billion-dollar corporations don't pay a dime, and this is why we are suffering. Our quality of life is in the toilet because the people who have been elected to represent us, you guys are not doing your job. Too many people have died who have been hung and beaten to have a seat at the table, and now you've got 90% of black people running this government, and you guys are treating us the same way we would be treated if we were still back in Jim Crow and 50s.
Now, for those of you guys that don't know, PG County is a predominantly black county. Pretty much majority of the elected officials in PG County are black people. All of them. Majority of
blue.
them, if not all. And it's, staunchly blue.
See,
Staunchly blue. You might not find a Republican in any position, elected official there. I don't think there's any Republicans there. It's all Democrat.
That same thing is happening in a lot of these blue cities. First of all, I so appreciate the gentleman for standing up and even trying to address the issue. Although I would push back because he's got some things wrong. First of all, it is your black elected officials who negotiated a poor deal for you. The federal government did not put data centers in your neighborhood. They didn't come to PG County and say, hey, PG County, we think you have a piece of land that would be good for our data center, and here is what we can do, which is how this happens. Your local officials negotiate a package. So you had some bad negotiators out there. So you elected these black people, presumably because you found them to be so competent. And now when it was time to negotiate a multi-billion-dollar deal over multi-years, you found out that no, they're not actually all that incompetent. And so what they did was whatever payoff they received, because what y'all need to do now is wait till the next disclosure form comes out and see how much individual investment these elected officials and those around them, meaning their husbands, their sisters, their cousins, have invested in these things. Because what they did was take their payoff and they stuck people in PG County with the bill. So now you're paying. Now, if you go to the president's offer, the president is trying to increase AI. He wants to be the world leader in AI. But his deal, because apparently he is a good negotiator, is that the companies themselves are going to have to create the energy infrastructure to support those data centers. And what that will do is not only defray costs from the customer, but it is also going to get our electrical grid, which is already, according to those who know, on its last legs.
Yeah, outdated and antiquated.
Exactly. He's going to force them to say, not only are you going to have to power yourself, but you're also to do the American people a favor for letting you have this ability. You're going to have to fix our grid as well. That's what good negotiation should
Come
look
on.
like. And I said this the other day on the show, and that is this: when you are stuck in a race, class, gender paradigm, what that does is it makes it impossible for you to see solutions that might be outside of a race, class, and gender. This is not a racial issue, which is why it doesn't matter that your Black officials are treating you as bad as you would have been treated in Jim Crow. You can't see this is not a racial issue. What this is you put incompetent people in office for the moment you have to face. If you needed to just march and go on Jim Crow laws, these people you have might be appropriate. But for the 21st century problems, race, class, gender is no longer sufficient to answer the problems of the 21st century. You're going to let these people go and get some competent people, regardless of their race and regardless of their gender, to do your bidding.
Excellent. I want to know, how long is it going to take for Black people to understand that color is not what your problem is?
Yes.
How many Black people have to be elected to office to screw you before you realize that they're one of your worst enemies? I'm just trying to figure this out, because you can't have an intelligent conversation with anyone who's constantly voting blue no matter who, and then refuse to acknowledge that they're being screwed by the blue. You got to stop doing this. I mean, this is insanity. Crystal, you often use the phrase, when you do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, that's the definition of insanity. But if somebody call you crazy, you're ready to fight. But you're crazy if you think that voting for somebody based on their color is going to solve your economic problems. That's just all I gotta say.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you have these people that believe, one, that the Democrat Party is here to save them. They believe that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in a lot of these areas that are, blue no matter who strongholds, it's the Democrat Party that is crushing them.
Yes.
When you think about what's going on in the state of Maryland right now, if I'm not mistaken, the House and the delegates is majority Democrat. The governor's seat is Democrat. And in the major counties in the state, it's led top to bottom, it's Democrat. And people can't understand why the taxes went up, why these daggone electricity bills are going up, property taxes going up, tolls have gone up. You name it. If they can tax it, they've taxed it. I promise you, if they could find a way to tax the oxygen, they would do that. They've already taxed the rain. There's a rain tax, in the state of Maryland. It's crazy. It is insane what's going on. And the thing is that they keep thinking, oh, I'm going to put the Black person in. If the Black person has a D in front of their name or behind their name, understand that they are marching in lockstep with the agenda of the Democrat Party, which isn't out to serve you.
No.
They're out to serve themselves.
Wow.
Yeah.
When are you going to realize this?
Come on.
Because the reality of it is, it's not, and Minister Dancer, you're right, it's not Black folks. Because when you look at what Winsome Sears had proposed out in Virginia, a Black woman who is a Republican, and you look at what Virginia was under Republican leadership,
That's right.
They were going in the right direction. Now, all of a sudden, look at where they are right now.
Right back in the dumps.
It's not race, it's ideology. It's not a Black or white or an Asian or Hispanic. No, it's the ideology.
Yes.
And you got to start making decisions based off of who is actually going to make your life better.
Yes.
Simple as that.
Okay.
I don't know how long. I don't know how many more times. You know what I'm saying? Do you have to go through this before you realize, like,
they're gonna need an intervention. That's all. We're gonna have to intervene. They're gonna need an intervention.
Now, I want to piggyback off of what you just said, because you're hitting the nail on the head. And I think a lot of individuals, especially specifically in the cities that vote for blue every single time, don't understand this concept. He came up there and he said, you guys are not doing your job. Sure they are. They're doing exactly what their system wants them to do for you. They're not doing a job to help you. Power situations across the country hit the nail on the head, and a lot of people don't really understand this. I think about Austin, Texas. They were so excited. Was it Tesla, I think, went down to Austin, started California, started coming in droves. Yay, it's cheaper down here. Sure, it's hot, but I can get more. I can get a house. I can go work for Amazon or Tesla. And the problem is, if you look at just energy, there's always a limited supply of energy. It's not like infinite amount. They press a button and everyone has electricity. If you got a power plant capacity issue, you have generators that can only do but so much, depending on the fuel and resource that you have. Natural gas is limited by the gas supply, obviously. Your coal plants, which you don't really do that much anymore, had fuel delivery issues. Hydroelectric dams have water issues. Wind and solar are limited by the weather. You have grid issues like in Texas, those of you who remember, and then you have reserve requirements as well that are requirements of how much they have to have. So if I have a limited supply of something and a large amount of people who want it, I have to figure out, it's called scarcity, economics 101. I got to figure out who's going to get this supply. So I have to increase the expenditure so that I can actually afford to operate. So yes, of course, their bills go up. And yes, that is how it's tied to how these companies come in and take away from that. But to Wise's point, when we look at, I'm not going to just say black people on this one. This is for everyone who specifically lives in cities and keeps voting blue and are the first ones to complain, well, my life gets hard. Well, look at what the liberals support when it comes to cities. They support expanded public transportation and reduced car dependence. It sounds so good on paper. It's another way of saying rely on us. Affordable housing programs, rely on us. Higher minimum wage and worker protection completely ignores the concept of inflation. If I hear one more person say the minimum wage in this country should be $15, I'm going to have a different conversation about how you got your education. Well, Democrats and liberals focus on environmental regulations and climate initiatives, right? Which is incredibly expensive and also unproven in a lot of cases. And the last one is expanded social services, which once again is rely on us. And so you get excited because, to Wise's point, you have someone with a little capital D behind their name. You're like, yes, I want this person because I've been told that they're the less hateful of the two parties, the ones that care about me the most. They want to adopt my identity and make it a standard. Well, I'm going to vote for them. And then you're going to be kicked out of your house because odds are you're not working in finance on Wall Street in New York City. You're not working in management consulting or technology, one of the big three that get you six figures. You're probably working at a restaurant. Maybe you're a nurse. Maybe you're someone who's working in transportation. And as all these big companies start coming in way, I hope you're looking at land elsewhere because you're not going to be able to afford to live there anymore. And it is specifically because you continue to elect individuals who will tell you big corporations are bad. Go look at the individuals who give the most amount of money to these major Fortune 500 companies. It's liberals. Of course it is. Every single time. And it's been that way for the majority of my life. But I don't expect him to know that, Wise. I don't expect anybody to know that because most people don't understand how the government works. Stop blaming the federal government for things going on down the street from you. Your mayor, your governor, your county, all these things have so much more impact on your actual day-to-day life than Trump. But so long as you are distracted, you will never change, and they'll continue to push their agenda. If they can keep you mad, keep you upset, and keep you from picking up a book and reading it, then they have succeeded in their jobs. And so I would argue that they are indeed doing exactly what they were hired to do or elected to do.
The Democrat Party is the party of slavery back in the day and today. Because whoever feeds you, clothes you, and houses you, they own you.
That's right.
And that's all I heard. That is all I heard when you kept saying, hey, rely on me. Yeah, rely on me. Because if they're responsible for feeding you, that means they can take it away.
That's right.
If they're responsible for housing you, that means they can take it away. That means that they have full control over you and your family. Why would you want to be in that position? Why?
They master the optic. They phrase their words for maximum effect by using optics and acoustics.
Yeah.
They want you to see and hear that they're your friends, that they're all for you. They don't tell you about the consequences. So you're hearing that they love you, they care about you, they're going to take care of you. And then you vote for them, and then they screw you. That's the game.
But Minister, we need critical thinking.
Come on.
I'm listening to AT, which is exactly what Democrats say. All I heard was bondage. That's all I heard.
Yes.
So I had a meeting, and I appreciate what y'all are saying about the Democrats. But that's the problem. Too many people are beholden to parties because for some reason people forget that the Republicans are just as bad.
Sure.
Like there are a lot of Republicans that are just as bad. That is why they're called rhinos. And a lot of people don't realize that. So I want people, don't even stop and say, this person has a D behind their name, this person has an R behind their name. What you need to do is actually stop and listen and ask questions, because I think that's the problem nowadays. People just, the gentleman I was talking to, he was saying that when people ask, when he was saying, you know, I'm running for office, and they said, do you support Trump? Because if you support Trump, I'm with you. And it was like, he's like, don't you want to hear my plans, what I would like to do? No, as long as you support Trump, we're good. We're good. So this is the problem, because like no one's thinking. Everybody is so beholden to party. They're not holding anyone's feet to the fire. We have, because yes, we have the crazy liberal Democrats, 100%. But we also have the Mitch McConnells. We have the John Thoones. We have these type of people who are not doing their job. And it's because, this happens because people are not holding people's feet to the fire, not asking the questions, not saying, well, when you get in office, what laws are you trying to enact? What are you trying to do for the community? What is your plan? Don't just think, well, you're running a Republican, so I have to support it. Or you're running.
Good point.
Because a lot of Republicans are doing exactly what the Democrats are doing.
Good point.
And I say that because they just care. Either you supported Trump, or for some, do you support Israel? Because if you do, I'm not voting you. Do you? Okay, then I vote. Like those are their questions. They're not actually asking real questions. What are you going to do within our community? What is your plan? So that is why I said I'm taking it a little different, because at the end of the day, you need to know who's running in every aspect. You know, everybody says independents don't do well because this is a two-party system. But I am sure there have been good independents who actually had good things, but no one wanted to hear, because you're not Republican, you're not Democrat, so we want to hear nothing you have to say. And that's the problem. We need to actually do the work. This starts in your local community. Know what's going on. Everybody's always focused up here. The president. Midterms is here, y'all. What are you doing? Are you researching your candidates to see who and what are they doing? Why are they running? What is it about? How are they going to help your community? What are their plans? Or are you just saying, well, I see a Republican, I don't know what they're about, but I'm going to make sure I click R, and nope, I see a Democrat, and wait, they're black, they look like me, so I'm going to go ahead and hit D. Then you wonder why our country is in the place that it is in.
If I can respond to you real quick, I agree with you. You know that I do, because we've done this thing for a little bit now. The challenge that I always see always comes down to the individual. We can blame Hillary, Trump, Obama, Biden, all those if we want to, and we should for a lot of those people on that list. But why is it that the average person will hurt themselves to be on time to watch a 3-hour football game? They'll hurt themselves to catch, if you still watch the awards show, I pray for you, right? But they'll go out of their way for that. It'll take about 30 minutes max to figure out at least who is running in my district. But we don't want to dedicate the time to that because we don't believe our vote matters. Most people don't vote anyway. And it's so much easier to just consume and continue to disassociate. The problem with the two-party system is that that's how you get the money, right? If you want to actually run and get money from any kind of founders, you can't do it as an independent unless you're independently wealthy. You have to have that D or that R, that blood or the crip or whatever it may be to get people to elect you. And it's such a deep issue that we got to figure out where it starts. And I firmly believe it starts with the people, because I'm not waiting for some really charismatic leader to come up there and try to fix all the problems. I'm pretty sure that probably won't be a good guy anyway, right? And we have to figure out how to get to that point. But I do agree with you wholeheartedly. I really do. Hopefully we can get past the point, especially this year, of just saying, hey, I remember the first time I ever voted. I'll tell myself I didn't vote most of my life. All right, I was a Democrat, was told my vote doesn't matter, and so I just didn't do it. That's an excuse. I don't take that, but I did not vote. When I did the first time, I thought, oh, it was an election. I expected to see the key names on the ticket. No, comptroller, who's your DA going to be, right? All these questions. You really have to dedicate, like, put it on your calendar. I say that to everybody on here. Just put it on your calendar. Give yourself an afternoon, a true blue afternoon where, you know what? I'm not going to watch TV. I'm not going to hop on YouTube. I don't know what y'all do in your free time. Kick dogs? Hopefully not. I'm instead going to look at who is running so I can be more informed than the average. People say the most off-the-wall, ridiculous things. Well, the reason why gas prices are so high is because of the president. That's a popular one that's going on right now. It's all Trump's fault. You know nothing, Jon Snow. right? Thank you for admitting that to everybody who ever said that too. It's not the way that it works.
And that's why I say not only that, but go to the forums.
Yeah.
I'm going to be
Town
doing
halls.
a forum. I'm going to be doing a forum here in Atlanta. I'm going to attend one and live streaming. Go to the forum so you can ask questions, because you're depending on people to ask the questions, and hopefully they will ask the right questions. But you may have the right question, but you sitting at home and you not getting involved, then you don't know who these people are. And then you get upset that this is how my city, my state, my country is running, but you never did your job. You just sat back and said, you know what? I see an R, I'm good. And that is the problem that we live in today. We need to stop doing that.
The local election turnouts are abysmal.
Oh,
I mean, we saw it up in New York. You know, you got what, 8 to 10 million people up there, and you know, only 2 million people showed up to vote. And now everybody's got something to say after the fact. But when you look at it, that's how the DSA has gotten a stronghold in positions all across the country, is because they've attacked places where turnout is low.
Very strategic.
Yeah, they've been very strategic. So people complain, like some of it too is there's not a lot of conversation around it in school academically, and then parents aren't discussing it either.
Right.
And I'm not one to say that the school system, because y'all know how I feel about the school system,
Trash.
but everybody discusses the next presidential election. But people don't talk about the local elections nowhere near as much. And those are the ones that actually affect you. Your county commissioners, your school boards, so forth and so on. And typically, these are positions that you might get 30 or 40,000 people show up to vote for. So they're low voter turnout for like really important seats. When you start, especially when you start talking about school board and county commissioners and the comptrollers, these are the people that take your tax money. You're paying these taxes.
Right.
Don't you want to know who's going to be responsible for this money? Don't you want to know? But then you'll turn around and blame whoever's in office as the president. People need to be educated. It's on purpose, man. They've dumbed us down on purpose.
That's
Easy
right.
to control.
And they've distracted us on purpose. People are probably so distracted these days, man. They're more distracted than we were 20 years ago. I mean,
Yes.
it's crazy. But I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, consider joining the ARP family, or buy your brother a coffee. The link's in the description box below as well. Join us Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for ARP in the morning. And as always, keep God first, stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all next time. Peace.
It is God who arms me with strength. Yeah, I'm battle ready. He trains my hands for battle. My heart stays steady. But thanks be to God, He gives us the victory. Through my Lord Jesus Christ, fear can't live in me. I was down to the dirt, red clay on my shoes, old pain in my shirt, oh so bruised. And the Lord hit my chest, kicked air from my breath, put power in my step.